Church of Jeanine Basinger is now in session. In the name of the camera, the microphone, and the holy splicer, Lord, we thank Thee for the gift of cinema, which allows us to see ourselves in the infinite ways in which You see us, and it's just so much fun. And we beseech You, O Lord, to protect Turner Classic Movies and keep it from harm. You know, it's been pretty daunting to try to prepare remarks about Jeanine on the occasion of her receiving the supremely well-deserved Robert Osborne Award, because speaking publicly about Jeanine is at once the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do. It's easy because so much seeming hyperbole springs easily to mind, and difficult because so much seeming hyperbole springs so easily to mind. And if there's one thing we Midwesterners don't like, it's hyperbole. In fact, pretty much the only thing we allow ourselves to be proud of and brag about constantly is our modesty. But of all the great people I've been lucky enough to know during this brief flash of life, Jeanine Basinger is genuinely worthy of hyperbole. For her life, for her brain and how she uses it, for her beautiful spirit, her generosity, her accomplishments, and for the enormous community of people she has built, whose lives she has touched, and who in turn touch one another's. And why have I been given the honor of speaking about Jeanine on this solemn occasion? It's because she says I'm her favorite student that she never had. I didn't go to Wesleyan. And I would say she's my favorite teacher that I never had, except it's not true. She is my teacher. She is all of our teacher. Everybody here probably knows the story. It was referred to in the video, but it's worth repeating briefly. Jeanine is from Brookings, South Dakota, and as a tot in the late 1930s, she fell in love with the movies. She was blessed with great parents who indulged their daughter's passion to see everything that played at Brookings as two movie theaters, one right across the street from each other. And as soon as she was barely old enough, she got a job as an usher, you saw it in the video, at both theaters. They were owned by the same guy, and she kept that job into high school, and then through college. Brookings is a college town, and then through graduate school. And it was this experience as an usher, absorbing the same movies over and over again as a fan, and always with an audience, that formed the bedrock of her film knowledge and led her to begin to piece together for herself, as an utterly solitary autodidact, what a movie is and what makes a movie great. Once bored with the plot itself, the young usher would tell herself, well, next time I'm going to pay attention to the furniture and the costumes. And the next time, well, now I'm going to notice when the music starts and stops. Ignorant of the word cut, she'd count the blinks, as she called them. And she'd ask herself, well, why does one movie 90 minutes long have 68 blinks and another movie the same length have 137? Perhaps most significantly, she started noticing the names of the directors, always the last credit. And to make the connection that she'd usually like a movie if so-and-so were listed as the director. She also read all the fan magazines, eventually every movie book she could get her hands on, building for herself the beginnings of a complete foundation in the industry of Hollywood. Ask her today about almost any American movie, and she can tell you not just all about it, but the world of it, how it was made, where the players were in their careers, how it was sold, how it was reviewed. So during that exact same decade, the Cahiers du Cinéma crowd in Paris were smoking their Gauloise and spearheading the auteur theory. And in New York City, Andrew Sarris was sharpening his pencils. A young lady in Brookings, South Dakota, was also inventing the auteur theory, all by her lonesome. I've been lucky enough to meet some of the people who have probably known more about cinema than anyone else who's ever lived. Bertrand Tavernier, Leonard, Martin Scorsese, Pierre Riccian. But then there's Jeanine in a class by herself. I asked her once whether it's true what they say about her, that she's seen every single American movie ever made, including, by the way, short subjects, cartoons, travelogues, and newsreels. And she said, no, she said, not every movie ever made in America, but she said, I've probably seen more than anybody else. Which she continues to do to today. Even all the new releases, you know, all those screeners we get in the fall, all those movies we never even heard of, she actually watches them, well, a lot of them. And in the words of our mutual friend Sammy Wasson, her love of the medium is so complete that she won't abandon it, even in its most impoverished form. I don't have to go into the massive details about her career. It was described in the video. But all I can say is what we all know, that Jeanine Basinger is a supernova in the firmament of cinema, that her brilliant brain could have led her to the top of any profession, any discipline, and we are so lucky that she chose movies, that when she teaches us movies, she's also teaching us life and ethics and strength, and that she's the greatest intellectual we'll ever meet, but is not an elitist. And with movies, what she teaches us most is to trust ourselves and to trust our own taste. And now that she's retired, we film lovers really must carry on her legacy as best we can in the ways that she's taught us. And that she is not just the finest film professor in the world, but really one of the finest human beings in the world. Oh. It's a pleasure to know you, Jeanine.
I think we should give this award to Jeanine Basinger, everybody.
I'm overwhelmed. Thank you, Alexander, dear friend. And thank you, Prince Ben of the Mankiewicz royal family. And thanks to all of you for being here. It is overwhelming to get old. Clint Eastwood told me, live everybody out. Live past, they'll give you all the awards. Which turns out to be true, and it's very good. I don't even know what to say. Those who know me know I'm never speechless, I never shut up. But this has been kind of much. I did jot down a few things, and I want to say that there was a time in my life in which all of us who were film nuts talked together about when we die, we'll go to the big movie show in the sky. And there'll be a channel, and we'll turn it on, and it'll just play old movies all the time, over and over, and we just sit there and watch, and then we chuckle. And then one day, we realized, we went home, and on our TV, we turned on a channel, and it was doing that. We weren't gonna have to die. Such good news. And I'm not personally planning on dying as long as TCM doesn't, so I'm counting on all of you to participate in keeping it going. I knew Robert Osborne. We were not close friends, but we were friends. He was, as everyone says, a lovely guy. Couldn't be better. His spirit lives in all of this wonderful festival, now hosted by these fabulous people that I'm madly in love with, all of them. So I feel I want to start by thanking Robert Osborne for being my friend. And I want to thank the people who are here who have been lifetime friends for me. Leonard and Alice Moulton and their daughter Jessie, George Stevens, Ben Modell, Bob Gazzali and his wife Mimi, and of course, my personal army of Wesleyan alumni. I'm sorry, stand up. The thing is, if they follow me anywhere I go, they come and they take care of me and they do everything and they applaud. I want you all to know I'm opening a hot dog stand in Peoria next week. Please be there, buy the hot dogs, just don't eat them. So, I'm also very blessed by having, who could not be here tonight, a wonderful husband of 58 years and a family. That deserves applause. Someone once said to me, "You've been married 58 years, how many husbands?" I said, "One." And I have a lovely daughter, granddaughter, son-in-law. Those things bolster you in life and keep you alive and happy and get you through the dark days, and they should always be remembered. I've had a wonderful life of something. Imagine this, a little girl in South Dakota who loves movies, puts her little 3-year-old butt down in the chair and sits there for 85 years and figures out a way to get paid to do that. This is, I think, my greatest accomplishment. So I want to really tell you that I was amazed to be given this award. It was one of those have you got the right number occasions, and thrilled to hear from the people at Turner Classics and to know that I was being given this award. And I really started thinking very seriously about it, what it meant, what the other people who had gotten it, who are all wonderful, and thinking about all of you who might be here and the people who come to the festival. And I thought, we're a tribe. We're a special tribe who love movies. And we come together in this festival, our tribe, in our tent, which is this beautiful theater. And I thought, we are people who willingly come into the darkness and sit down in the darkness and trust the darkness and wait for the light to come to us up on the screen. And when it comes, we embrace it and we learn from it, we grow from it, we cry, we laugh, we find out things about people we didn't know about. Hopefully we grow and gain better understanding. And these movies that are our entertainment are also our best opportunity to learn and grow, to build a better world together and to have real hope. And I thought I should really give this award to you because you're here for that purpose. So I'm giving this award to you, all of you. You can't have it. But I am giving it to you. I think you are me and I am you. We're a tribe. Turner Classic Movies is our home. They're the people who nurture us, and we must take care of them. And not one person should ever leave this festival without pledging that no matter what happens, we'll keep Turner Classic alive. If a movie was playing out in a forest somewhere and there was no one there to see it, would it still move? The answer is no. No. Why? Because we wouldn't be there. There's three parts of the equation. The wonderful filmmakers we admire and love, the films themselves that we see and see again and talk about, and us. And we're the key. We're the audience. We're important. Let's take our roles seriously. Let's go for the best. Let's always go out to the theaters. Let's always watch Turner Classic Movies. Let's stay together as the audience we are. And let's say, God bless Turner Classic Movies. And let's say, long live our tribe. Long
live our tribe. Woo!
I have now forgotten everything possible about Whispering Women. Tell me about it, Ben.
I doubt that very seriously. Yeah, so first of all, that was beautiful. I like this tribe. It's a solid tribe. So, you know, given that you've seen more films than anyone else,
Well, it's a good thing to say.
you, all right, but let's figure you're probably in the top 13 at a minimum, and you might be number 1. So you could have picked any movie.
Pardon?
You could have picked any movie.
I
to
could have.
Yeah.
Yes.
You picked Westward the Women.
I did.
Tell me why.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of reasons, actually. One is I did see this film in its initial release, and I was ushering, and in those days, most people didn't, you know, yell things at the screen or applaud or anything at the end. They just got up and went home. They talked and loved. This film drew applause from an audience every night, and that was a unique experience.
Every night, so it wasn't,
No, it wasn't a bunch of weirdos that although that could happen. It's also based on a story written by Frank Capra, and most people don't know that.
He was gonna direct it, that was his initial
He
thought.
wanted to do a Western, and he wanted it to be this story, and he wrote the story, but he couldn't, you know, during the Liberty film sort of collapse that he had with his co-workers, he sold off a lot of properties, and he and William Wellman were friends, and they were having lunch, and Frank just said, well, take it, make it yourself. So it's also, I think, something wonderful in that it is a story about women, but they don't become men. They undergo a terrible, harrowing journey. They're going west to become brides.
They're choosing this, no one, right,
When they get there, they say, we will choose, because they had earned the right. They found they could form sisterhood, they could come together, they could learn how to shoot, they could learn how to do the wagons west, they could face the Indians, they learned how to do everything that men could do, but they didn't become men. At the end, they want to be beautiful, they want to be clean and look lovely before. So, you know, some people might find that, I see you smirking, but here's the thing.
No, that was an actual smile. I can do both.
Well, I have to learn which is which. Give me a sign till I get familiar. But the thing is, that's what's so wonderful. Men are not disparaged, really, in this, and the women are not trying to take over. It's a feminist film, really, but it doesn't lecture us about that. It lets us observe the strength of women and what they can do, and I just thought it was a good choice.
I think it's a great choice. There's a scene pretty early in the movie as the owner of this, I guess it's a cattle ranch, right? But there's a bunch of men there, and they need to go to Chicago, and he thinks these guys need brides, he thinks, right? But in many movies, the person organizing this, played by John McIntyre, you know, his concern for the women would be irrelevant, but it isn't. He actually gives a speech, and he says, look, we're gonna go get these women, and they're gonna volunteer to come out here. The ones that choose to come will come. And when they get here, you will treat them right.
Yeah.
Or you will answer to me.
Right. It's wonderful. And also the women, when they arrive dirty and ragged and tired, they say, now we're gonna choose here, not the men, we're gonna choose. And also you go back into town and find nice things for us to wear so that we can be women, the women we are, who can do the things we can now do, who've learned what we've learned, but we're still women. We're here to be brides. You know, I like that. I like it.
There's also and I won't give anything. I'm sure there are a lot of people who haven't seen the movie. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
I won't give anything away, but there are there's some bold, creative choices here of unexpected turns that are uncharacteristic for, I think, for this type of film, especially in 1950.
Absolutely. It's a film that could be made today. In fact, somebody smart should remake it. It's a great story. And I think that, by the way, this, one of the reasons I did choose it too is it's a good film that has a great story and doesn't get shown much. People don't know it. And Turner Classic has made that change. Since you have shown this movie several times, I started getting letters from people about it because I have written about it. So, you know, that's an example of the educational role you play, which is so important because this is a movie that should be known.
Tell me again what city you were an usher?
Brookings, South Dakota.
So when I arrived at this festival this year, and we were in our meeting on Wednesday night before all the pass holders check in on Thursday, they made the announcement that we have people here at the festival, pass holders from 48 of the 50 states. The two we were missing were Alabama and South Dakota.
Wrong.
Yeah. Alexander, have you ever been to Alabama?
Too late, Alabama. Right?
So now we're at 49 out
Yes,
of 50.
you bet.
Jeanine, this is going to be a highlight for me for some time, the chance to not just meet you, but talk to you, spend some time with you. Just in learning about you and writing about you, I felt like I was getting close to you. And then when I met you for the first time an hour and a half ago, and it was thrilling. It was like, you were so kind, it was so sweet. You know, I was intimidated.
Oh,
like,
Ben.
you know, I don't like being around scholars. I always feel like scholars are gonna out me.
That's how I feel.
Oh, well then that's why this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You bet.
The 2024 recipient of the Robert Osborne Award.